What we see here is a Casablanca Cambridge, or some would like to call it the Mini Victorian. The origin of this model is, or the history of this model is rather unclear. What's really known is it was available between 1983 and 1991. This model dates to 1988. 1988, as some of you know, was the first year Casablanca brought 5 blades mainstream. Meaning every model they had was then immediately available with 5 blades. So, this one is Inteli-Touch. Pretty cool. I found this thing off of Craigslist. It was a Curb Alert listing. It looked like a Lady Delta at first. You know, because the top plate is the same style the Lady Delta used, albeit slightly wider. Well, looking at the picture, it was face down, assembled. I thought, okay, it's just a Lady Delta I can pawn off to somebody. Anyway, I get there. I see a W-11 control sitting on one of the blades. And I'm like, what is this? Did someone accidentally include a control from a different fan? And then a couple seconds later it dawned on me and I realized I found this instead. Which was unexpected to say the least, because Cambridges are not exactly common. So, yeah, it was a nice find. Anyway, we are going to see how it performs. Starting on low. Or speed number 1, as it's technically referred to. As you can see, it does run on speed 1. When the capacitor on the main, or when the main capacitor on the board starts drifting, speed 1 doesn't work. Because, well, yeah. The motor simply doesn't have enough oomph to get anything to move. So, the hang true is of the recall variety, and I do not have a canopy clip for it. This one probably should have one. The finish is antique white and bright brass. The model number is 13262T. The 13 denotes the model itself. The last 3 numbers denote the finish. If it were just bright brass, it would be 13222. But because it's a mixture of antique white and bright brass, it's 13262. So. And the T obviously stands for, or maybe not obviously to everyone watching this, but the T stands for Inteli-Touch. Alright, let's go to speed number 2. Now 1 is the aesthetic low, whereas 2 is more or less the actual functional low. 2 is about the same speed as the 3-speed fans, or 3-speed Casablancas, are on low. Where it's just slow enough to be aesthetic and just fast enough to be functional. Now to speed number 3. The bearings, when I got it, were a little dry and loud from disuse. But as the motor ran, the bearings quieted down a bit. The grease just needed to be spread about a bit. Grease needed to be disturbed. Speed 4 we go. There's your label. Now to speed 5. Speed 5 is pretty close to high. Since this model is from '88, it uses an Emerson K55. One's made around 1989, 1990, 91. They used some of them used Samsung motors, which are hit or miss. Now straight up high. The fan is nearly wobble free. There's maybe a very, very slight bit of wobble, but it's actually very, very good. Let it toast. What you've just heard there is the reverse tone. Now, press the fan button again. It starts up from last setting used, which in this case is high. For the purpose of testing, just because I'm lazy and didn't feel like digging up the original control, I'm using a W-31 instead of the original W-11, just because there's no real functional difference, other than the fact that the W-31, same as the W-32, only without the three-way functionality. The W-31 has the added reverse button, whereas with the W-11 you have to press both the fan and light to have it reverse, which is kind of annoying if you don't know how to work the control. Now, I'm going to push the power button, which turns the fan off, actually will turn everything off, so if this fan had a light, yeah, it would go off as well. The power button is good to use if you're worried about your fan being fried by a power surge. I mean, if you had the money, you would just have surge protector circuit breakers in your house and then it would be irrelevant, but since most people don't have those, yeah, you want to keep the power off when not in use, because if there's a power surge or a lightning strike or some crazy shit like that, you're going to have the board fry, and good luck finding parts, because Casablanca sucks these days. They ain't gonna have parts. So, yeah. Overall, the fan's in pretty good shape. Blades are in pretty decent shape, no warpage. Very few scratches on the finish itself, on the motor. I mean, yeah, the canopy could use a clip, but it's not terrible. It's also not the heaviest motor housing there is, so I mean... And because it's not wobbling, that's another good thing, because the combination of weight, wobble, and the plastic hanger ball deforming is what causes the ball to slip through the hang true, thus causing the fan to fall to the ground. That's never fun. A couple injuries have been reported from that. Yeah, big old recall, so they made a canopy clip for that. I mean, the bearings might be slightly dry, but as you can see, the spin down time is pretty decent. Flywheel's not bad either. And there you have it, an Inteli-Touch Casablanca Cambridge with 5 blades.